Okay, so now let's talk about the YAML header. So in Markdown, you can have a YAML header at the top of your file. You may be able to have it other places. I'm not positive about that, but I know you can have it at the top of your file, and that's where I usually see it. So let's try sticking that in here. So organic Markdown also reads that information and you can define simple code blocks that way, and it can make it can simplify the way things look quite a bit if you stick the simple code blocks up there. So let me show you how that works. So to start a YAML block, at least in this editor, you hit 3 dashes and then you hit enter, and then you type the YAML in. And so in this instance, organic Markdown reads, it looks for a section called constants, and then you can put, like, for example, you could say name Spider-Man. So let's save that. Now let's switch to the source view. So now here you can see what the YAML block really looks like. So YAML blocks, they start with the 3 dashes and they end with the 3 dashes. They just get displayed in that other way in this particular editor, but this is the way you would see it normally if you were editing the Markdown directly. So let's switch back to the other mode, and let's run Tangle. And so we'll look down here. I took out the argument here for a name, but I left the default value here. So if this doesn't work, we'll see Joe Blow. If it does work, then we'll see Spider-Man. So let's try this out. I'll do Tangle and cats. So hello, Spider-Man. So now if you delete it, it should go back to the Joe Blow. So the thing that's cool about this is that there's a lot of things that you could stick up there. One thing that I found to be particularly interesting when I'm doing a project in Literate programming is to stick a version number up there. So the Literate programming kind of makes it so that these code blocks can function kind of like an automated global cut and paste. So you don't have to have some sort of central file that would hold the version that your executable can look for and that your make files can look for. You can have one place and you can create all the files out of your Literate system and they can all look for the version. So if we said like 0.0.1, we could say printf running version, and then just do version. Okay, so this should make it so that we can, so that version will get stuck in there. So let's put a new line and a semicolon. Okay. Tangle. Now let's look. So now it's printing that out. So we could even go ahead and so this is something that I commonly do. If I'm going to tangle something frequently and then build it and run it, I'll just kind of stick everything here in one line. So OMD tangle and OMD run build and OMD run app. So that should tangle it that way. If I'm working in code, it's always tangling and building and then running. So let's try that. Okay, so it printed out running version 001, hello Spider-Man. So what's cool, like I said, you can use this version in other places. So normally you wouldn't be building just on the command line like this. You might have a make file. So you maybe would want the make file to create an executable that has a version number in it. We can kind of do the same thing here, just directly on the command line, and say version, and then we, oops, okay, we could do this. Okay, so now if we do that, then that works, but let's go look in the bin and see what we got. So now we have simple 001, we have simple 001, and then it's easy as just doing this to update the version. It's pretty slick, so you just run, let's get back into that other directory, run that, it's version 002. Let's see, so then you have a version 002, and if you want to, you could run these and make sure they're actually printing that version out, which they are, and the other one shouldn't print anything, well, I guess it had a version in it. So, and and that's just right up there. Something else that I've done in the past is have a project name up here, and then you can just use it all over the place. You know, any place that you might, in any file, which is something that's kind of difficult to do if you're just doing coding in a traditional way. And then, yeah, so that ends up being useful and worth taking advantage of.